11-2, solving multi-step equations. This is our third problem on this lesson. We're talking about a girl named Gloria who rides a bike M miles on a Monday. Takes her 2 hours to ride M miles on a Monday. On Tuesday, she rides 3 times as farther, or 3 times as far, but it takes her 5 hours. We know that between the 2 days, she averaged 12 miles per hour. We want to know how far she rode on day 2. So we're looking for the equation, obviously, first to help you solve your work and your answer. All right, so we know M is the number of miles she rode, right? Yeah. And on day 1, how many miles did she ride in 2 hours, everybody?
21.
On day 1, how many miles did she ride in 2 hours? M. We know she drove, or rode, I guess drove, it's a bike, M miles in 2 hours. So just for kicks and giggles, if she went 30 miles in 2 hours, do we know how fast she went?
Yes.
We don't know that she went 30 miles in 2 hours, but if she did go 30 miles in 2 hours, we know she was going 15 miles per hour, right?
Yes.
So all we can say is M over 2. Okay, and then we know that on Tuesday she rode 3 times further in 5 hours. How are we going to express that? Linnea?
Is it 3m over 5?
3M. Why 3M over 5?
Well, because it's 3 times m and then 5 hours.
Okay, so just for fun here, I'm going to say M equals miles she rode. And we know that on Monday she rode M, and on Tuesday she rode 3 times M, and she rode M miles in 2 hours, and on Tuesday she rode 3 times M in 5. So that's miles per hour, right? Miles per hour, miles over top of hours. Is there a sign that goes between these two?
Yeah.
What? What's the sign? Why are you adding them?
Because that's what equals the average.
So what's the average?
12 times
12 miles for 1 hour, right? Can I express it like that? 12 over 1? Okay. This is an average though, right? Is this an average? Okay. And if we know she rode 30 miles, just for kicks and giggles, this is not real. If she rode 30 miles in 2 hours, we know she went 15 miles per hour, right? But what if she rode, on this day, what if she rode, well, 30 miles? What's 30 times 3? Divided by 5. What's 90 divided by 5? 18, right? So she rode 15 miles per hour on this day because she went 30 miles in 2 hours, and she rode 18 miles per hour this day. Isn't 15 plus 18 33? Okay, so aren't we trying to find an average though? Did she ride 15 miles per hour on both days? Or 18 miles per hour on both days? Or kind of an average of both of those? So how would you find the average then? How would you find the average of 15 and 18, you guys? Everybody on the count of 3, how would you find the average of our pretend numbers, 15 and 18? Go, 1, 2, 3. Divide by 2. So if we still don't know what their numbers are, when we take whatever this number is, plus whatever this number is, and divide it by 2 to get that number? Yes or no?
Yes.
So what do you think of that? So day 1 plus day 2 divided by 2 gives us 12 miles per hour. How many of you missed this step right here? Divide by 2. Walking around, a whole bunch of you had M over 2 plus 3M over 5, but you didn't divide by 2 to get the average because 12 miles per 1 hour is the average. Yes, no? Okay, so now we've got it. How do you solve that? Okay, I'm going to rewrite it so it's a little prettier. M over 2 plus 3M over 5. This whole thing divided by 2 equals 12. 12 miles per hour, right? Do we love working with fractions?
No.
Yes, we do. Do we love working with fractions?
Yes.
Yes. Do we love working with fractions in these types of problems?
No.
So how are we going to get rid of the fractions on the left side of our equation, Christina?
When you multiply by 2.
Let's multiply by 2. So we are going to take this whole darn thing and multiply it by 2, right? We're going to take this whole darn thing, since we did it to the left side of the equation, we're going to do it to the right side of the equation and multiply by 2. Right?
Yeah.
So Christina, clean it up. If I multiply that whole darn thing on the left side by 2,
Then you have m over 2 plus 3m over 5 equals 24.
Yes, no? So this 2 canceled this 2 out. That's all we really did there. Looking a little bit better?
Yeah.
Yes, no?
Yeah.
Are we done? Do we still have a fraction? How are we going to get rid of our fraction? M over 2 plus 3m over 5 equals 24. How are we going to get rid of it, Nafisa? Find a common denominator, or the least common denominator, which is what? 10. So let's multiply this by 10, and let's multiply this by 10. Nafisa, clean that up for me, please.
240.
Well, yeah, it equals 240, so you did the right side. What's the left side? 10m over 2 is what? 10 times m over 2. What is that? Say again? So it's 10 over 1 times m over 2. What does that equal? 10m over, which equals what? 5m, right? Yes, no? So we've got 5m plus, what is 10 times 3m over 5? 10 times 3m over 5. What is it, Michael?
30m over 5.
30m over 5, which is how many m's?
6m.
6m. So now we've got 5m plus 6m equals 240. What's next, everybody? Everybody. Combine like terms. So now we've got 11m equals 240. What's next? Divide by 11. What's next? What's 240 divided by 11? Pranav. 21. Is that rounded or is that exact? So 21.82. Done, right?
No.
No, you didn't answer the question. The question was, how far did she ride on day 2? And on day 2, we know she rode 3 times as far as she did on day 1. Right? So how far did she ride on day 1, by the way? 21.82. We don't care what she rode on day 1. What did she ride on day 2? Multiply that by what, everybody? 3. And you get what, Pranav? 65 and what? 65.46 miles. And this number is going to vary a little bit. If you didn't round this number, if it's 21.82779164, and you multiply it by 3, it's going to change this answer, right? Should you keep the original in your calculator on this one, or should you round it? Keep the original. So if you keep the original, whatever it is, whatever 240 divided by 11 is, and multiply it by 3, what is your actual answer? What is it, Pranav? 65.45? Rounded to the nearest hundredth. Because you could round to the nearest hundredth then. Okay? So 65.45 miles, which if you round to the nearest tenth is 65 and a half. Grading wise, and you should know, did we do much different here? Did we do anything new here? Let's go through this problem grading wise. Number 1, can you write it? Can you write it? You should be able to write it, right? Take day 1, take day 2, divide by 2, it equals 12 miles per hour. The second thing, getting rid of the fraction. Third thing, rewrite the problem, clean it up. Fourth thing, continue to get rid of the fraction by using 10 as your LCM. Fifth thing, fifth point, clean it up. Sixth point, combine like terms. Seventh point, divide by 11. Eighth point, figure out what m is. Ninth point, multiply by, what do you need to multiply? In this case, 3 to get your final answer. So 9-point problem right there, right? So if you think about your final test, which is a 100-point test, this could be 10% of your test right here. Back to the problem. This is writable. You guys know how to find averages. You know, almost all of you came up with m over 2 plus 3m over 5. Almost all of you forgot to do that. And I told you you have to know how to find averages, right? So what was her speed on day 1? What's her speed on day 2? You can calculate speed, right? Distance divided by speed is what? You guys know what speed is? You just told me what speed was.
Miles per hour.
How do you find speed?
Distance.
Distance divided by time. You guys just told me. I went to Iowa the other day, and over the course of 2 hours, I drove 150 miles. How many miles per hour did I drive? 75 miles per hour.